I wanna be rich.
Karibuni to this episode of the Tumesota podcast. So this week, we're still in February, guys. This week, we're talking about relationships and money. The previous episode, we were focusing more about platonic relationships and embarrassment.
Where is platonic? They're out of this world. So, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
You see, English, please. That's not fair.
So we focused more on now that Anto is here, platonic relationship. It's actually platonic relationship. Platonic relationship. So today we'll be talking about romantic. There's agape, eros.
Hey.
Anyway, so romantic relationships and more about that. So stay tuned. Don't forward. Stay till the end. As you can see, we have a new guest, and that's why we brought someone else from a different gender. And if you're also
so that the guys are represented.
Yes. So asanteni sana for supporting us all through. You've been with us till now, and you'll continue being with us till forever. Anyway, so asanti sana. You're with me, Pauline, the Indecisive saver.
Abigael, the Disobedient budgeter.
And Amira, your favorite impulsive spender. And this is the Tumesota podcast because indeed, Tumesota lakini
Tunamoka.
Ding, 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 ding. So, welcome to the Tumesota podcast. For those of you who are listening or watching for the first time, this is the Tumesota podcast. We are the Tumesota podcast on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms, as well as YouTube. Today, we are blessed to have our first male guest and our second guest of the year, Mr. Anto Neosoul.
Yeah, drum roll.
He doesn't really need an introduction because he's so extra. Like our extraness will be completing in this episode, I'm sure.
Imagine.
But I'll just give you a bit of like context. So Anto is an amazing musician.
Way.
I'm very critical. I love music, so I'm very critical of people who cannot perform as well as like their music sounds. He's a great performer. I've seen him perform. He knows how to move a crowd. He knows how to also move a crowd on radio. That's why he's a radio host. He's also just a big ball of energy and full of life. And he's pro-women. We love men who are
Yes. Who run the world?
Girls.
Thank you. But we still make sure he's not too biased to the guys out here. But we thought, hey, we need a male voice to talk about this topic, which I'm sure we can't even exhaust it in one episode because it's so hot. It's so hot. We're gonna get into that later, but finances is one of the top reasons why people even divorce in the world. So it's a very big thing. And even with Valentine's just passing us by, you've probably seen on social media, there was so many debates on how to get gifts and just different things. So we're gonna get into that. For now, I'm just gonna hand it over to Abby as we go into Tumeota.
So in typical Tumejam fashion, we always have a segment of Tumejam. We just rant
In typical
about
Tumejam fashion.
I also do that. I understand.
Tumejam, many confused. Anyway, we normally have a session where we just rant about like what has made us mad during the week, what has made us like a person who kasirishad you, a person or something that kasirishad you, or even maybe it could have been at yourself. So just tell us what has made you jam this week.
This week I've been pissed off because I know I've just because exactly I think 8 months ago I fixed my car, my amazing Subaru. Is that what they call it? Subaru.
Right.
So I fixed my car over something that happened again this week. The same exact problem I paid for, and this was like about 23,000. So the same exact problem happened to me on Tuesday, and so every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday I go for boxing. So that's why today I had to go and then come back home and change and then come here. So and because I do boxing 3 times a week, so it pissed me off because it meant I missed Tuesday and Thursday, and it just puts me on edge. I go for boxing to balance my all this energy, you see. So So na jam na mechanics manze hakuna fundi unaweza
hata fundi wa
imagine it's just not you, because even as we were saying there's a day we were saying we need to have a whole episode of customer service in Kenya. Because it's just as bad as kwanza mechanics wanaweza kudanganya fundi wangu.
Like there's this sexy thing about customer service where people actually are rude. Like it's a sexy thing. Like it's nice to be rude. Even when people are serving you, you feel like this person is being too nice. Am I gonna pay for extra for the niceness? So that really pissed me off. But also I know we did.
Did they apologize?
Did they apologize? I have to fix it again.
Did they apologize for the fact that they failed your car?
Where? Amira,
customer service in Kenya is
which mechanic tells you so not digress today's conversation, but one of the things that because to be honest, you guys have a really nice thing going on here, so because it makes people talk about money, which is also a bit of taboo in Kenya, because it's like, no, you don't talk about money like that. But it made me realize a couple of things about myself. One is that I think there is pride in actually driving a car that won't bug you as much just because you fear keeping up appearances. I mean, I'm Anto Neosoul, so naturally for me, I don't want to drive a small car. But then I'm like, so I'm driving my Subaru for who? So I drive this Subaru for other dudes to see and be like, yo man, I'm not driving Subaru. But it's made me really think like I'm gonna fix that car and sell it. I might just as well get a Demio and then also employ someone. Imagine. To be honest, I actually thought about it and I was like, guy, this is nonsense. This is stupid. Yeah. This is actually stupid.
And what it's doing is taking money from your pocket.
Yeah. You can't keep fixing the same problem.
And also it's also that you see, I can fix the same problem in a Toyota. Subaru, you will fix the same problem with more money, and it's gonna be regular. So I have to, So in fact, even when Amira sent me the question, I was like, this is a wake up call. Maybe imagine you young ladies have made me think differently about. I didn't know all these things until today. I'm firing my bank.
We are happy. We are happy. Part of our banks.
Imagine.
The Tumesota podcast is educating people. So I'm gonna get into the first question that we always ask our guests, and it is, what would you say is your financial superpower and your financial toxic trait?
So my financial superpower is getting money, is making money. Like you know how people get, like there's people who know how to get. No, okay, like you know how there's people who like they know how to give chicks balls kama maneno kuteka, unajua.
Uko na mbodhi.
Yeah, uko na
mbodhi.
What is going on mbodhi?
Hey, wewe, I thought you're from Kangware.
Yeah, I'm from Kangware, but I'm bullshit nowadays. Like I'm from Kangware, but nowadays I live in Karibuni, so I'm akona words. Akona words. So
like I get girls.
Tuko na mbode. So now me, I know how to I know how to get that money, and also it's because of coming from Kangware. So when you lack, you know how to make money, get money. But one of the things I realized,
keep
money, but that's where the problem is. Now getting money, like me, I will hustle. Me, I will come here, I'll meet your dad. He tells me that he sells cars. I'll be like, so you just. I come advertise for your car. Yani before I've left, I have 100K. You know, like I know how to get money like that. The only thing is, and I've realized even with my parents, because none of them has ever complained about it, is that I think growing up, because I had like one pair of shoes from like, let's say class 1 to class 4, in a Sean 1, knee, all those things. I have knee and shoes. I think I have like 70 something pairs of shoes. Yeah. In fact, I made sure that the house I got, the bedroom was big, just so I could make sure that I have.
You can see your shoes.
Everyone who has a lot of shoes always come to my house, and then they literally rethink how they tell. Nikona viatu mingi. When they meet mine, they're like,
Aya.
So I think it's a toxic trait, because I can't wear all of them. I want to have them.
And they go out of fashion.
Yes,
fast.
and then also because I'm on TV and I'm on radio, even if I was to wear them so people could see them, they don't see them because where will they see them from? And the problem with being on TV is you can only wear one pair of shoes for so long. So like let's say the show that I just did for Valentine's, those shoes that I wore, I don't think I'm gonna wear them again because also I don't want people to think I'm repeating the same number of shoes. So I also want, maybe I like it so much so I should get another color of the same. So yeah, so that's a topic.
And then we're also in a pandemic. Nowadays there's so much inside.
Yeah, we're in a pandemic, you know, we're staying away from the virus, so we have to wear different kind of shoes. So hii ukivaa ina relax pale una quarantine, unachukua ingine. Yeah, unachukua ingine unavaa ingine. So mna guess? Yeah. So yeah. So mmenielewa, but to be honest, a very bad trade. It's a bad trade because when you do the
shopaholic.
when you do the sample for the shoes. Well,
are you willing to declutter though? Like, are you
yeah.
willing to like?
So I decided that I give. Now that's a problem with decluttering. When I is it Marie Kondo? When I Marie Kondo my house, when I give out, because I make sure I give out, I don't post and all those things. But then now I say, but now.
Hiyo pesa.
No, hata sijui sasa
you need more now to feel. You need to
nirudishe.
But seriously ni zero work.
That's the thing. So it's very, to be honest, it's very difficult. Na pia hiyo ni shida kwenye nilitoka. Manze mimi sikuwa na viatu. So no,
it's deeper than the shoes.
But also it's a problem because it means, and I'm acknowledging, it means that I'm carrying a burden that is my burden, and the shoes shouldn't be helping me to get that burden out.
And maybe it's like you're also almost living in fear of, I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah, I don't want to go back. Yeah, and that's the thing also with money, is that money can't solve that problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem we make a lot of times, is when we solve a problem or we do something for the optics. You see, so we'll buy a 15,000 bob perfume to smell nice. Not because it's a necessity, not because not because medication. There's nothing wrong with buying that if you can be able to. But intention is, for me, money and intention have to go together.
And you can find a body splash that's 300 bob that smells just as good, but it's
imagine
not Calvin Klein.
And also it means that you won't be able to have to eat greens only that month because you have a 15,000 bob perfume.
Yeah.
So it's intention is very important. Money and intention is very important because you only go as far as your intention.
Hey, that was a whole sermon.
That was quite vulnerable.
Amen.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So I know I asked you this before we started. You already told us that currently you're not in a relationship, but we just want you to
Single
take
squad, gota.
Oh, I'm Amira. Amira to go.
Yeah. So we want you to take us back to a time where you were sorted in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe you go Kangware.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in Kangware when you had already made it, but you're still kind of establishing yourself.
I think when I was in uni, because for me the best relationship that I ever was in was when I was in uni, which is a few years ago. Why? What's the problem?
Why you like to people?
This one, you can't even see.
Even me, I was in it 3 years ago, right?
Guys,
A few years is relative.
you know, in the Bible, one day can be a year, so a year can be a day. So few days ago, in fact,
Be you doing it?
many days ago.
Amen.
So it was I don't know, mockered, but I was kind of mockered. Like I was in.
You are in college. You're not. You're
not
broke.
a
Yeah, but no. Hold up. My friend, our stories are not linear, please. No. When most of you were in college, begging your parents for fees, me, I just mocked because I just done sugar. Yeah. Like I was in class and the lecturers were my fans. Like that's how. Yeah. No, like for real. Like I'd go to class. I remember I think I was in year 2, so I'd get into class and then the lecturer walks in the like. So the whole time, like I was journalism, so so clearly they were also the same. So the lecturer would ask me for the number in class, like ask for my number. Then when we are in class, you hear someone say, "So Anthony, what do you think?" What do I think? You're the lecturer. So anyway, so I started dating some very beautiful chick called Nana in uni. And so
No,
it was,
washing gun, yeah?
no. It was, you know how Kenyans are. Bobo, Nana, so, you know.
So Nana is Makena.
No.
Oh, you don't. Well, that's what
Yeah, let me not say. But a really nice person, like really beautiful heart, amazing person. We never even used to talk. In fact, I don't even think we could stand each other because me used to be a backbencher and she was sat at the front, and we always used to make noise. We used to argue with the lecturers. You know, we were just not like in a bad way. Like I was just that person who would ask questions. For me, I knew a 3-hour lecture should be 3 hours. So when the lecturer is there thinking they'll make it 1.5. I make sure my questions fit together. Yeah, me, I was paying for my uni, so
get your value for money.
Give me my money. Yes. So with all that, we started dating, and it was interesting because our dates were snow cream, and then
And back then, snow cream was there.
Yeah, it was But why watch kunzesha sana? Don't say back then. Like.
But imagine snow cream is
No, but
it's not popping like that.
I grew up in the.
Creamy.
You also like I grew up in the. At now after we leave snow cream, we go get photos at Uhuru Park. It's not that back then. So we used to go to snow cream and then Sanford.
Sanford?
Yeah. No,
Amira wouldn't know where Sanford is. Yeah, she's bougie.
You know
I just don't know where that
is. But you know McFry's, ndio?
Yeah.
So McFry's ile nitomboya man hiyo hapo. And then so like our dates would be like in a mat, nganya tukienda home. They were loud, they were noisy, but we were messy.
Bruh.
You go figure. So now that said, so it was like I think because of where I grew up, I didn't have these expectations of what I'm supposed to be smart. I'm supposed to behave a certain way. But at least I was able to afford those things. By the way, if you know, you know me. So there wasn't enough pressure at least I was able to do certain things that certain people couldn't do. Like I was able to buy an outfit for when we went out. I was able to pay for her certain things
and still not struggle.
I was able to do that kind of stuff. But in retrospect, I do wish that I went through a dating phase that I think probably some people went through in terms of like, what if I'd invested some of that money? What if we'd invested the money together? What if, because I always feel like, I have nothing to show for it. So even it's just a story.
Yeah.
There's nothing bigger than that. And so so we'd go for many events. Like we would go to Skylarks. We would go to every turn up event because there's nothing I couldn't afford then. There's no turn up I couldn't afford. So and then we started using taxis because now I've kind of made it. And taxis then
taxis were
it was done home because now we done home. It was done home to Taos like 2K, 2.5.
Yeah.
So when you really think about it, there's a lot of also mistakes.
You're like 10 G's in a week.
There's a lot of mistakes we make when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And we can redefine what relationships can be. And I think if you again sort of have pillars in a relationship that when we're done, if we can't stand each other in 5 years or 3 months or 4 months, what is the one thing we can actually say that actually we gained while we're together? So kumbodhi ni kumbodhi ni poa, but what if people bothered money together?
And I think even just to add to his point, he's taken us back to a time where he wasn't necessarily so tired, but like the book that we've been reading, which that talks about, broke is not necessarily about what you had, because you had money, but the mindset that you had didn't allow for you to necessarily like reproduce it. It's like you have nothing to, it just came and went. And I think we can all relate to times when you may have had money, but you blew it.
Yeah. For me, actually, even if you think about that, I got chills when you said that, because for me, it makes me say that being broke is having everything that you have, but you don't have. It's like you have all these things, so either one, they are all borrowed, or they're on loan, or they're all being financed for, so you have them, but you don't really have them. Or you have all these things that you've actually paid for, but you don't have them because they're not even really for you. They're for everyone else to see, and they're not really multiplying your happiness in terms of creating structure and creating a foundation for you financially. But all they're multiplying for you is, again, the word that I like using, optics. It's like, manzo mwana sime Abigael. So actually you see me Abigail ni yetu.
Exactly.
You know?
Like I see a lot of people online buying, like they'll buy, like you see celebrities buying their girlfriends' cars or something for outward appearance. And it's like, wow, with that same money you could buy land, you could buy something that appreciates, because that car they probably list it most of the time, and it's going to depreciate.
Yeah,
So you're buying what you want to show.
Most people when they bought for those cars, whenever they break up, they realize, guy,
You have to return.
kumbe gari kwa yake.
Lazima nirudishe.
Iko yake, or wameka traka, unaibishwa huku nje, mume break up, chalia anatuma na tigari yake imeibiwa. Unasimamishwa katikati ya barabara na kila kitu kinachukuliwa. So the guy didn't even own the car.
Okay, so that takes us to the next question. Like how has money affected your relationships? Ama, how can you say that it has influenced your relationships?
Yeah, for me.
Ama, how intertwined?
Yeah. So for me, even to get into a serious relationship now, to be honest, I've had a couple of secret relationships that people will never even find out.
Privacy is key.
Yeah, it's very key. So those secret relationships that I've had, secret. I've been in relationships with a couple of, like the chick who I was in a relationship with, and she still is related to one of the most powerful people in the country. I'll say who. The guy just turned 101 years or 100 years, Jonjo. So she's related to the guy. And one of the things you realize with them is you can't impress them.
Yeah.
You can't impress them. Like, I mean, what are you gonna do that's
Them to
Bora or somewhere, like for them to be like,
Oh my God, yeah.
So you can't really. So it makes you realize that when you get into those relationships, that's why you find power of families that are powerful. Their relationships always thrive, even when they don't have really nice relationships behind the curtains, because people have to create stable foundational relationships that are based on investment. What are you bringing on the table? What are you supposed to do? So like she was working for, I can't say the farm because a lot of people will now go and do their research, but she was working for a farm where she'd, like, every time we'd meet, like, we'd go out and we'd like go turn up, we'd meet and she'd be like, so what are you into, like, what, they have, okay, you're doing this, or this person that I know, I could hook you up with Abigail. She works in this farm, she could help you get that biashara. I think that difference, other than umesikia Abigail aliachwa, umesikia manze Sheila got saved. I mean, it's not bad conversations, but where are we growing with that? So in terms of, I learned a lot about investments, and also I learned a lot about some people just want to get into relationships to grow as a power couple, not really because they're planning to get kids or all those things. So I'm always So I'm always keen on why are we in this relationship? What is so new about this relationship that I can't find elsewhere? And then also now for me, even because of being exposed, need to be honest, now for a chick, she has to be so enlightened and so exposed that it just turns me on like that. Like, wow, manzi udem anajua story ya do, like udem anajua story ya kupenya, udem akona exhibition, udem akona sijui akona book club, udem sijui ako in sijui which
things like bodycon dresses. They don't float your boat anymore. If
she's selling them, like, there's another chick who also, not that I'm eyeing her, but we sort of have this interesting relationship. Sometimes she call me brother, then I'll be pissed off. And then and then she'll just want to see my reaction. And then when you hear that she's traveled, then you text her, she's in Tanzania, she's going to buy wigs and she's bringing back to Kenya to sell. And I'm like, anyway, this chick, she's a hustler. This chick is a hustler. And she works for a good farm in Kenya. So you can tell that she's really hustling and trying to get her way out. So that kind of stuff it turns men on, I think.
Yeah. I think, and even just to add to that, I think one thing I've realized about money is it's more of a mindset. It's more of a mindset, because you can have someone who, they look rich or they have like so much money, or it may appear that way, but they don't even know what to do with it. Yeah. So it's like all they know how to do is spend it. And then, so what good is it if all you know how to do is spend it? You don't know how to invest, you don't know how to be wise with it, and then it's just like, okay, you're going for enjoyment every other time, but it's like, is there anything else you're working towards, like building legacy? Because it gets old at some point.
I think also, just to add on his point, we were talking about surrounding yourself with people who you're in the same headspace with, in regards to like your finances, because you could be so focused, like you'd be so focused about being financially literate, investing, building your asset column, hizo vitu zote, and then the person you're with is in a different, anataka umbaye wigs, anataka muende hiyo bora na, and it just doesn't make sense, then it doesn't balance. So I think that's why you don't even remember the thrift social thing. You remember? Yeah. So you see, it doesn't add up kabisa, because you see, you're really trying, but you see, it has to be like you need to intertwine and be a support system, the two of you, in such a way that, because when the both of you bring money together, then what you're building is way more than when it's just you who's focused on
and even just to sort of advise,
alignment is key.
And you see, it's equity.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about equity, we're talking about just financial equity, not even really equality, that we own the same kind of thing.
Not necessarily equality.
Not financial equality. I have X number of, and you have X number, so we sort of compatible. But financial equity, where you're talking about someone has savings or investment for $3 million, and the chick is at 450, or that is 450 million Kenya shillings. So there's a level of, it's like Formula One. You guys are pacing yourselves in a way that there's actually no loser in that Formula One race, because you're all Formula One drivers.
Yes.
Rather than you're busy here Formula One in, alafu manze kuna msena ngana.
And the destination is the same.
It's the same. Mtu anangana nawe nanganya huko nyuma. Sasa aje. I mean mnaenda wapi? So it's very important. And also advice for women is that when you sort of have that energy and that heaviness, that weight in a relationship, it's an ego thing. There are certain decisions made in a relationship where you always have equality in that relationship, because you're talking money, you're talking investment, you know yourself, what you're bringing on the table. People won't be out here treating you like trash and
trying to manipulate you. Because men also, let me not even say men, people can use money to manipulate a lot of the time. Yeah, and make you feel inferior. Yeah,
when you
make it explicit.
Luck is slavery. Luck is actually slavery. When you don't have your own, people do take advantage of that, I haven't even read that book, Laws of Power, 48 Laws of Power, but even when I go to meetings, I always know, like, there's a certain desperation you have when you don't have money. There's a certain level of nonsense you will take because you don't have money. And imagine a relationship where you don't have nada, zilch, zero, dore, you don't have anything. I will tell you to stay in the house. Yeah, yo babe, niaje mimi nimeenda kuona maboys wangu hapa.
They can control you.
But your kid, nakam sangapi nakuchukua mama.
But you see, I think just to add to
imagine.
But to add to that, sometimes that's a real situation for many people, and I think that goes back to the mentality, because you may have zero in your bank account currently, but you don't have to treat yourself like you have zero. You can decide, I have zero, but I'm working towards something.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people are like, I have zero, he has the money. Okay, then I just have to be in the house.
Imagine you having zero, and I don't want to give the example like it's always women having the zero, but imagine because we know many instances of now where women actually have a lot of money in the relationship, and the guy is relying on the chick. So imagine the guy having the chick having a lot of money. The guy doesn't have a job, or he was retrenched, but he's always busy. Like you see, financial literacy is very important.
Very.
The guy is probably always telling the wife, babe, mimi naona since uko na weeks kama 50. Easy weeks, chukua 40 uza na mimi tuanze kitu ya social media, uanze kuuza hizi vitu. You see, even for her, she'll be like, maybe I should open a biashara for this guy.
That what I'm saying is it's how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Imagine mimi huwezi nibeba ndogo hivyo.
Yeah, but you see ukibeba ndogo
even if let me tell you that the thing is, being dependent on somebody can make you stupid, and that's not a good thing, because that's not how it's supposed to be. Because if this person you're dependent on is supposed to be like the person who's supposed to be building you, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even you, ukimwonesha, I will lay down for you because you have the money. That's a wrong perception.
That's why I believe in being financially literate. So mtu hawezi kuambia whatever.
That's why I go back to the mindset, because when you're not financially literate, I'm then at the mercy of the person who has the money. That's how you just feel, because you've not also educated yourself.
You don't know better. You literally don't know better, and that's the problem with not knowing better, because then what do you do with no information? Think about it, and it's easier said than done. We can easily say that you need to walk out, go get your own, but on the ground, this guy is they can't move out, they don't know where to eat, they are stuck there probably with kids. There are so many things to deal with, but the better situation is to always ask yourself before you walk into anything that's about to happen to you in the future, what if you knew better?
And that's
before
what I'm
getting
saying.
into that, yeah.
You like usikubali kubebwa ndo.
Yeah.
Educate yourself, make yourself like put yourself in a state in which even if that person was to walk out of your life today,
Yeah.
because it does happen.
Yeah.
That if that person was supposed to walk out of your life today, you can stand and say, I don't have all the money,
Yeah.
but I'll figure this out.
Have your dignity.
Like you'll remain with your dignity. Exactly.
Because even that's the thing I like about, they could walk out.
Yeah. Any day.
And I think even in the pandemic, what it has shown,
you've laid down. And then the person walks out. So what do you do?
And I think also what the pandemic has shown is that even the ones who look like they've got it made are losing. Mm-hmm. So if you're hanging on to one person by a thread, everyone is losing money. You better figure out a way to self-sustain as much as you may be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Anyway, despite all this, despite all that we've talked about on a more positive note, when you are in a relationship, how can you maintain the quality? Like maybe you genuinely, it's not even for social media, you want to impress your significant other, you want to treat them nicely, but how can you do that without breaking your bank? And like my mom always says, cut your cloth according to your coat.
Yeah.
So not trying to keep up appearances with the next person. But do you have any life hacks of how to be creative and stay within the confines of your budget and still want to make the other person feel loved or appreciated?
Yeah.
Because some people also use the excuse of I'm broke, that's why I couldn't take you out, that's why I couldn't do this, I don't have money. When that's not a good enough excuse. You can actually still make someone feel special on a very small budget.
For me, again, like I keep coming back to the word equity. We're talking about equity and financial literacy and financial equity, that when you and the person you're dating, the reason as to why you're together and the reason and the things that bring you guys together, the moment you and I think for me the future makes everything sweet at the moment, even when it's not the best.
Yeah.
So a bright future makes a bleak present quite sweet. Because you get Sindio, because
We are sorry.
because when you know what you guys are actually garnering for, the small things in life, the small conversations, the reminiscing, and they're eating fries and you've ordered fries and mecha kuku imetona boda, mnakula mnacheka. Because I go back to again intention. Why do you do the things you do to bring you happiness? Are they for you or are they for somebody else? And I'm telling you, some of the arguments and in relationship begin there. The moment you are trying to drill onto someone that this small thing we're losing now will allow us to enjoy the bigger picture. And the person is thinking, no man, it's Valentine, we gotta go to Naivasha, we have to go for the Churchill show. I mean, that's what the person wants. Well, you're thinking, but the money we're spending to sleep there and all those things, ipesa ni simiti. There's this joke people always make.
And people also compare to their friends.
Their friends, yeah. So I think for me, and let me tell you, I always believe in when you carry yourself having certain principles, there's things that you are when you have firm principles, you're an unshaken character. There's things about me that people know about me, and I make it very clear when I meet them, and I always tell them this is what I want people to remember me for. So I tell them, I'll decide today I'll walk into this restaurant in Tao without feeling nothing. I will usually meet my friends in Kibanda. I'll enter and have fun with them, because also I use that to also get certain content about music and all those things. So I'm being selfish about certain things. I will live here, I will do this,
You don't care about how it looks to people.
I don't care about how it looks to people,
because
I know what I'm working for in the future. So when you guys have the same goal, I promise you, I think for me I don't have a specific about what you should do to make your life better, but for as long as the two of you are happy together, I think for me
contentment.
So this idea of being with people seeing you have that stuff, manze, it's not important. And like I was saying, the thing that bring that strife is at the beginning, when you realize, guy, kumbe this person is actually a spendthrift, and I cannot live with them. It's actually, and they actually we plan together to have a future, but they were not willing to take the days and the months to actually stick it out. Yeah.
And I think, it's true. It's everything that you've said is true. You have to run your own race and be content with your season. And I think a lot of people get hurt a lot just because of comparing.
Yeah.
And I even keep saying with us, even with our podcast, as much as it's not a romantic relationship, I know when the day of omokaring comes, we'll even miss these times. There's some peace you have with being broke.
Yeah.
Problems are less, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I think also just not always being so quick to the next. Be content with where you are.
Yeah. Money is amazing. Money is amazing, but it's nothing. What money does for you, that's what is important. That's the most important thing.
That's a quote. It's amazing, but it's nothing.
But it's nothing. Money is everything, but it's nothing.
True.
If money is gonna buy you and your friends, all of them iPhone 10s or 11, just so you can show them that by the way, I bought for all my friends Valentines, all my friends who are single, I bought for all of them iPhones, and you're out there trending and everything. But you can't take that energy and go buy yourself some beachfront property, because that would be the same amount, less like $1 million. If you and your wife or your girlfriend wouldn't do that, then
you're actually broke, because your mentality is broke.
Yeah.
You keep buying iPhones.
You keep. We'll see where we'll meet each other.
Because you already lost the race.
So because the feistiness of this episode, and also the amount of wisdom that Anto has oozed out today,
and the charisma, and you've seen how the conversation has been flowing, we beg to stop here for part 1, and then we'll see you next week for part 2, so that we don't leave you hanging, and we also this topic. What's the word? Continue with this topic.
The more nuances, eh?
The what?
The nuances.
So for part 2, so stay tuned for part 2.
Don't go anywhere.
We're
not going to leave you hanging for 2 weeks. We actually means we're going to post next week. So you're in for a treat.
Does it mean we go home and then we come back with the same clothes?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
Sawa.
Make sure.
Anto atenda Karen Gware alafu arudi. Asanteni. See you in part 2.